Today we're going to take a quick look at relations. In math, a relation is kind of defined as being a connection between two variables. More often than not, those variables are x and y, but it can be any sort of variables. We're looking at that connection between those two things. So one example here might be a moving company charges an initial fee of $100 and then charges an additional $50 per hour of work. So if we want to think about what the variables in this story are, we could go ahead and say we're going to let x be the number of hours worked, and then we could let y be the total cost. So if we're trying to figure out, well, how are those variables related to each other? And we can think, the more you work, the more cost it's going to be. So we would say, as hours increase, the total cost increases as well. If we try and put that information into a table, we could go ahead, let our x and y be there, so we have number of hours, and then that's the total cost. So how much would it cost for 0 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, 4? Well, if you have 0 hours of work, but you're calling that moving company in, it's going to cost that $100 initial fee. Then $50 for each additional hour. So you're adding 50 for 1 hour, you're getting $150. Then another 50. Then another 50. Then another 50. If we try and put that into an equation, because we're going up the same amount each hour, it's going to be a linear function. So we're thinking y equals mx plus b. So if we're going up 50 per hour and we started with an initial fee of 100, the equation would be y equals 50x plus 100. I guess we can also say it's y equals that $100 initial fee plus 50 per hour, so the 50x. Then we take a look, is the point 3, 200 part of this relation? Now pretend we don't have part of the table filled in already. How would we begin to solve this? Well, there's our x value, there's our y value. So if we plug that into the equation, that's saying, does 200 equal 50 times 3 plus 100? $50 times 3 is 150. 150 plus 100 is 250. So that's not equal. So no. And it's because when working 3 hours, the cost is 250. Not 200 like they were asking. If we look at the next one, what about the 0.6400? So they're telling you, if you put in 6 for x, does that equal 400? And we find out that it does. So yes. And that's because when working 6 hours, it costs $400. Hope that helps. Message me with any questions, and I'll see you in a bit.